The Leader of the Third Party.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My next question is also for the Premier. Many Ontarians are finding it harder than ever before to pay for things like decent childcare, to pay off student loans, to pay their hydro bills. Many are finding it much, much harder to secure a future for themselves and their children. While bills go up, however, wages are staying flat. 1 in 3 people in Ontario earns a low or minimum wage. Will this Premier take action and agree today that instead of raising the minimum wage by 15 cents, she raises it to $15 an hour?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I know that the Minister of Labour will want to speak to the process we've put in place that raises the minimum wage in a way that looks at the cost of living, Mr. Speaker, and removes it from a political decision-making process that meant that for over a decade there was no increase in the minimum wage. But, Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Third Party talked about some of the things that challenge people. And those issues, like the cost of tuition, are exactly why we have put in place a free tuition as of September 2017, Mr. Speaker, for 150,000 students in Ontario, Mr. Speaker. You know, the announcement we made the other day about hospital parking, Mr. Speaker, I had someone come up to me last night and thank me for that decision. So we understand that there are challenges that people are facing, and the changes that we are making, including one that the Leader of the Third Party advocated for, which is taking the provincial portion of the HST off electricity prices. We're doing those things, Mr. Speaker, for exactly the reasons that the Leader of the Third Party outlined.
The member from Hamilton East Stony Creek is warned. Supplementary.
Well, Speaker, the process that this Premier is so proud of will have the minimum wage go to $15 an hour, and sometime 20 years from now. 20 years from now or more, this province will have a $15 minimum wage under the Liberal plan. It's not good enough, Speaker. There are things that we need to do now to make sure people can have a decent job and a decent living. We've called for some of those things, Speaker. Of course, the $15 minimum wage is one of them. We want to make it easier for folks to join a union, which is the best ticket into the middle class in this province, and make sure that they can get a first contract when they do so. There's no reason in this province why temp workers should not be paid the same rate and get the same benefits as the people that they're working right beside in the same workplace. Speaker, the list goes on and on and on. When will this government start taking action to improve the quality of work in this province, like, for example, increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour? Minister of Labour.
Minister of Labour.
Speaker, it's a pleasure to rise in the House and address the questions from the member opposite. I think when you look at the province of Ontario, Speaker, what you have in place is a model that other provinces are starting to emulate. They're looking at the predictability, they're looking at the stability. What we did, Speaker, before we put these rules in place that allow the minimum wage to increase year after year, we went out to the community, we talked to business, we talked to Labour, we talked to poverty advocates, we talked to everybody that had an interest in this, Speaker. The people who appeared not to have an interest, didn't make one submission to the panel, was the New Democratic Party, Speaker. If there was one party that I would have thought stepped up when the time was right to give their opinion on how to have predictability and stability in the minimum wage process, it would have been the people that are asking the question, Speaker. They can do better than that. Ontario is doing better today.
Thank you. Final supplementary.
Well, Speaker, they're doing a lot of looking and a lot of talking, but they sure aren't acting to make change in this province to bring people who are working out of poverty, Speaker. It is shameful that people working full-time in this province do not earn enough money to put food on the table and a roof over their head. The Premier likes to talk about her 15-cent increase to minimum wage, Speaker, but people in Ontario are at a breaking point, and they know that 15 cents simply is not enough. People need good jobs, and they want to know that the next generation is going to have the kind of jobs that you can actually build a good life on right here in this province. They need a $15 minimum wage. They should be able to join a union. They should be paid fairly for the work that they do. People want to know there's a future for them and for their kids here in this province. Will this Premier take the first step today and make the commitment to bring Ontario's minimum wage to $15 an hour?
Thank you. Minister of Labour.
Speaker, thank you once again to the member for this question. The Changing Workplaces review that we put in place with 2 expert advisors are addressing a lot of the issues that are being raised in the House today, Speaker. The OFL has been a partner in that. They're stepping to the plate. They're bringing forward good ideas. They're bringing forward recommendations as to how we can make this province a competitive province globally, with good jobs, with decency in the workplace, Speaker. I would remind the member that between 1996 and 2003, people who earned the minimum wage in this province received not one single increase, Speaker.
Yep.
Zero.
That was the
Frozen
Arctic
at 685. Since we've been in power since 2003, Speaker, we've increased the minimum wage 10 times. Up until very recently, we were the leading province in Confederation, Speaker. We've put predictability into the system, stability into the system, Speaker, and it's working. It's about time the New Democrats got on board.